Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander, and with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. What is going on, folks from around the world? Trust you're doing serendipitously splendid. Who's all here right now? We got Andrew in the building. We got Arabia. We got Angela, Mr. the Sergeant, Brad, Bill, Carolyn, Charles, Christine, Dr. Falco, Jill, Hunglao, Miss J, Jeff Hansen, Jonathan, K. Rob, Mike, Nancy, Scott, Sylvan. The Bell's laptop is here. Joanne, I love it. All right. Today is Transportation Thursday. We have ourselves a list of stocks to look at, along with some swing trades to cover. Let's go ahead and dive in. The SPY today traded down to the 10 EMA. In fact, we were talking about it yesterday and mentioned something very specific. We said that it's either going, it was a really nice candle. We were going to gap down or gap up. We had no idea which one we were going to do. We mentioned that if we gap down, that we probably would get stopped out of some bullish swing trades, which we did on HUYA. We'll talk about that. But SPY, ladies and gentlemen, type in a 2 if that is an absolutely perfect gap for some day trades. Oh, man. I mean, that is beautiful. So on the daily chart, you're looking at two small candles. You get an inside candle yesterday, a gap down, so there's nothing stopping you between where we opened and the 10 EMA on the daily. So here's the 5-minute chart, and I will say I did not personally take this trade, but you're playing the SPY. I mean, decent gap down, so you're getting a little bit of a run in the morning, so that was nice. And then you get this pop up here, this bullish high of the day trap, and then it just rolls over, and I mean, big move. So my boy Brad Reed played some Dow Jones puts today for a good gain based on that analysis, right? He wasn't bearish until it broke the high. And once it broke this pre-market high, right, you had a bunch of people buying, obviously. And then once it started breaking down below here, everyone who got in was trapped. They were losing money. It was already a very good gap on the daily chart. So she went lower. And that was a very, very pretty gap on the SPY. Now, when I took over the morning room, the SPY was right around here, and my analysis was bullish, right? Look to buy the dip. We're at the 10 EMA on the daily chart. Maybe we bounce, maybe we don't, but it is a decent little support down there. And we did. We slowly and ever so quietly grinded higher on the market since that particular low, just bouncing off of the 10 EMA on the SPY. So will we fill the gap? Will we break above it? Will we continue from here? I really wish I knew, but it was a decent dip buying opportunity. Same thing on the Qs. So we gap down, trade right into the 10, and we have a little bit of a lower shadow. So what's important to know is if we do take out the low of this shadow that came in today on pretty much any particular stock, there's a really good chance we're going to go lower, especially if we close below that candle. But at this point, remember on the Qs, this is a retest gap right here. Again, very good gap down today, just really beautiful gap right below the lows of these candles. Just trade to the 10 and bounce. So your first hour or two of the market, you had a decent bearish opportunity out there. And, I like this candle. So as long as we know this is the pullback that a lot of us have been waiting for, even if it's just one day, this is it. So we start bouncing, breaking, any type of bullish movement tomorrow. I mean, it looks good to me. A lot of traders took advantage of the opportunity of the sell-off today to sell some options, sell some puts, get into some bullish positions on a pullback. Here's the Dow Jones ETF, and you can see nice high wave candle. So this is a beautiful high wave candle, very pretty. I love it. You can pretty much just bracket trade this candle and say, hey, let's see what happens from here. Let's see how we move. Tomorrow will be a fun deciding factor. unless, of course, tomorrow is an inside day candle, which would be beautiful because I am traveling this weekend internationally, which means on Monday, if the market gaps down, if we get an inside day candle on Friday, buy as many puts as you want because we're going to have a good time and there'll be some bearishness on Monday if we gap down, right? If we are gapping down on Monday with an inside day candle on Friday, we will see. Maybe Friday just puts in a really good candle like this, and then we're just, back off to the races. So we have a few stocks to look at, and the first one that we're going to review is HEAR. So this was a swing trade that I don't think anyone else is in. It's probably just me. Not a big deal. Totally fine. I bought some puts on this one. They were $15 puts. I didn't have any stop on them at all. So I got in $1.60. My stop was 0. It gapped up today. It was a bullish gap and go, and it just did not work. We did have a trader try to play HEAR bullish, and I can respect it. I mean, if we go in here to a 5-minute chart, you'll see that you had a bearish candle, lower shadow. You had an inside bearish candle right here. We made a new high on this candle. Taking it bullish makes sense. Here's the pre-market. And the pre-market wasn't great because the pre-market, it did kind of make that new, it already made that new high. And anyone who bought there in the pre-market was trapped. But I can respect going long on Turtle Beach today. I get it. It just didn't work. And that's okay. So anyway, I'm just letting you all know that I exited those long puts on HEAR for a loss today. Sold them, right? So bought them for $1.60, sold them for 50 cents, and I'm out of Turtle Beach. There were a few people who are getting into some put sales on Turtle Beach today down there around the $10 area. So if you're among one of those traders, very cool. You can see kind of an inverted head and shoulders pattern type of look on Turtle Beach. So if at any point in time it closes above that neckline and or with this bearish candle coming in here on this gap, if we do close above the high of today's candle, then yeah, we're probably going to go a little higher. The other trade that I got stopped out today was HUYA, HUYA. So I've already deleted the lines. I don't know why I did that. I apologize. But we got into this trade pretty much just perfectly wicked in and wicked out. So we got triggered in on the trade on this candle, this upper shadow, and then it broke down and threw in a little bit of a lower shadow on HUYA. Robert Falco got out yesterday, and he didn't tell me that he sold 2 million shares. Otherwise, I probably would have sold with him. But HUYA, I mean, it just dropped below the 100. We'll see if it actually does end up becoming or giving us another shot at it. This does look like a double bottom to me, still does. Retested into here, trade down to that particular price. And here's the weekly chart. And the weekly chart, one of the things I am keeping an eye on this, and we're going to talk about this with the hedging of options class tonight. I do like it when a new IPO barely takes out the low. Well, I am keeping an eye on this trade. If I get stopped out once, that's okay. No big deal. I'm not done with it. I'm not throwing it away. I'm not putting it in the garbage disposal. I'm not donating it to Goodwill. I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if we can just simply play it later. HUYA, HUYA. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on the list. Where's my notepad? iTunes is always popping up. Everyone's least favorite part about Apple is iTunes. Okay, open this. All right, so I'm going to put HUYA on the list for Tuesday of next week, and we will simply see what it does from here. All right, so that's HUYA. Here's the next one on the list is El Pollo Loco, LOCO. And LOCO, this is a bullish trend that we're looking at getting in on a pullback. So here's the weekly chart on El Pollo Loco. what we're looking at on this one is a big accumulation pattern breakout. So here is the weekly chart. And the weekly chart, you got this really, really beautiful accumulation pattern. You'll notice that it broke and made a new low down here. So again, some people are getting trapped. Some people are, have gotten stopped out. Some people shorted the shares and are losing down there. And it kind of popped and went a little bit higher. So from here, what a lot of people are looking at doing, if you're looking at playing El Pollo Loco, here's the daily chart. And the thing is, we had a really massive bullish candle with huge volume back here. Retest gap, big bullish volume, strong move. And then you got a gorgeous retest, and then it bounced and made another high. So my thought, if you're playing El Pollo Loco, worst case scenario, it's probably going to try to come back down to this area to stop out some people. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you're looking at picking up some shares just purely based on how delicious that chicken is, and also based on the technicals of this chart, you'll notice how close we got to the 100 simple. Very close to the 100 simple over here. So if LOCO pulls back to the 100 simple moving average, that would be the spot to look to get in. If you're buying a share or two on the way down, I would just simply say slowly tiptoe in, take some small positions, and approach it that way. But for right now, just give it some time. We'll put El Pollo Loco on the list for Monday of next week and continue to keep an eye on it. FTNT. So FTNT, I had a trader ask about this one, and this is a good pullback to the 100 simple moving average. And you'll notice that Joanne's actually asking, is the 100 simple moving average a good spot to get in? Yeah, very frequently. It absolutely can be. So FTNT had a nice lower shadow trade into the 100. And this is one that one of our traders is looking at getting into some leaps on. So here's the weekly chart, and it does kind of look like a strong bullish trend on FTNT. Every time I look at this, I think it's Fortnite. Fortinet. Not Fortnite. Strong trends, good pullback. Here's your exponential moving averages. Pull back into the 50 EMA. So as far as a weekly chart, things look pretty good, and you got to like this lower shadow. Nice retest. We knew the market needed to retest. You got this double bottom here. Retest of the neckline, new high, another retest. So yeah, if you're in long on FTNT, or you're looking at getting in long, I mean, this pullback makes sense. I don't have any position on this stock. Don't plan on being in this position. But I do like the fact that we retested the 100. And I would just say at this point, stay long on FTNT if you're in. Okay. Next on the list is Carvana. CVNA. And Carvana throwing in a really cute lower shadow doji candle with volume. This is interesting because I'm trying to determine if this is going to be the spot that a lot of people are getting trapped on Carvana, and it's looking like it's going to try to bounce bullish. I think that's what Carvana is trying to do. Look at this trend on the weekly chart. Really good trend on the weekly. Carvana was at 70 not too long ago. And I like Carvana. Good site, nice, user-friendly. I know my buddy Brad had some put sales on Carvana at one point, and those put sales expired worthless. If you're looking at playing Carvana, Brad, I would say based on today's candle, you really could get in bullish above the high of this candle. And depending on your time frame, right, if you're a little bit of a longer term trader, you could hop in, have your stop down here, and give it a month or two, and then see if you can move your stop up somewhere below the low of this candle to mitigate risk. But realistically, I think this is probably a better spot to do a put sale. Even if it is over earnings, you could do one down here in March. So Brad, if you do end up playing that one, let me know. Otherwise, I don't have any position on Carvana. The hourly chart doesn't look too bad. Again, if I zoom out, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Today's candle is interesting. It is a good doji type of candle. All right, NIO. So this one was the bane of my existence today, and here's why. So we obviously got filled on the pullback, which is cool. I'm just stressed because I feel like I could have gotten us a better entry than we got on NIO. 819. I mean, with a stop loss way at 690, that's forever away. I get it. Oh, I kind of went in conservative intentionally. We talked about that yesterday. I really was debating on getting in here. It just looked so obvious with this volume and this candle that my thought yesterday was it's either going to throw in a lower shadow down to that gap or just break out and run. I mean, even though we're down on it super small, I feel like we just could have gotten in 20 cents cheaper. 791 with a stop at 691 is what I probably should have done. Well, we'll see if we bounce. I mean, we got triggered in. Here's the hourly chart. So we're in the trade. Hourly chart still looks good. Again, I just feel like I could have gotten this in a little bit cheaper, but I always feel that way, honestly. Almost every single time I pull up a trade, I'm like, yeah, I could have gotten in that lower. Sometimes it's to the betterment of my trading. Sometimes it's to the detriment. I like it. I mean, we're in, so we'll see what happens. NIO, let's go. Let's see if she breaks out. I like the moving averages. Here's the weekly chart. And, you know, the weekly, our stops are below all these moving averages. So we'll see how NIO treats us. Okay, that's NIO. Here's Google. And the reason I'm talking Google, so my buddy Jeff got himself a 1090 bull put spread that expires tomorrow. So again, Jeff, beautiful timing with that, my friend. And today, based on the gap, almost at the exact low of the day, I submitted and we submitted this trade, 1050, 1040 March bull put spread. If you want to practice a virtual spread, remember that is the challenge for February. The trading challenge is to get into a credit spread, even if it's purely virtual and it's fake money. It's good to just have an idea of how these things work. So this would be sell to open the 1050, buy to open the 1040, and this is expiring in March. So Jeff, we're going to look at your bull put spread tomorrow. You should be good. We'll see. I mean, tomorrow anything can happen in the market, but 1090, a little bit below the low of today. At some point, your spread was probably red. But the reason that I did the bull put spread where I did it, it's below the 10. The spread's below the 20 and the 50 on the daily. It's below the 100 on the daily. That's 4 check marks. Here's the weekly. So 1050 is also below the 100 simple on a weekly chart. Here's the exponential moving averages, and you're below the 10, the 20, and the 50 on the weekly. So that's 3 additional check marks. So that's 7 check marks. It's making a higher high and higher low. It has good earnings. And if I go to the all elusive 4-hour time frame, you're also nicely, all the moving averages, you're bouncing off the 200 and the 100 on the 4-hour. Had a retest gap, so it makes it likely they'll trade sideways. So I like Google. 1050, 1040 March bull put spread for $1.80. That was a decent fill. $2 on that spread would have been 20%. So $1.80 is about 18% return for Google. It was a down day today. We'll see if it bounces. I actually am okay if that stock goes into my spread a little bit. This will kind of be like my alert price. So my alert price will be 1051. If Google gets into that price, I'll know about it. I'll start watching it and going, all right, let's see what it does. But again, I won't worry too heavily. I'll just start looking at other time frames. But again, the weekly 100s at 1054.17. And by next Friday, that'll be a little bit higher. So we'll see what Google does. Next on the list is NXPI. NXPI, semiconductors, had a gap down this morning on earnings and faded. And we were talking about this a little bit during Mentorship Monday, but the strength of this trend is a nice 1 o'clock trend. Really good looking trend, gapping right into the daily moving averages, right into the 10. There's just a good fade. You would have had to get in pretty much at open. So here's the pre-market on NXPI. Now keep in mind I did not do this trade, but I could have. So if I take off all the moving averages, here's what we want to see. This bearish candle. And what would you all call this candle? What's the name of the candle that I'm pointing to with the blue arrow? What do you guys think on that one? One white soldier, absolutely correct. Yep, one white soldier, and that one white soldier you'll see closes above the pre-market. So huge one white soldier. You're most likely either getting in above that candle or you're buying the dip on that candle. Your stop is obviously below that candle. And then here's your S curve, and then boom, there's your 1.5 hours or so, and that's your day on NXPI. That's it. Again, gaps right into the 10, decent little fade, really good trade on NXPI. So what's it going to do from here is a good question. That I don't know for sure. If I had to guess, it's going to chop around for a while. We have a good double bottom on a weekly chart. Boom, 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 boom. Neckline right around, what price is this? Neckline's around 86.78. Your long terms were below them on the weekly, and the daily were right in the middle. I think this thing's just going to chop around for a bit. In fact, if you're looking for a trade tomorrow, this one could be one that eventually rolls down. And again, I think it's just going to chop around for a bit. So no trade right now on NXPI, but you're welcome to watch this one later. Okay, before we dive into those, let's pull up some other swing trades and make sure that we're up to date on all of these. So it's NXPI. Blue Apron, I don't think many of you are in Blue Apron. There's a few real life traders who are in Blue Apron, and this thing is just doing absolutely nothing. Moving averages are trying to bounce. Again, this stop is forever away, held over earnings after bullish gap and go, still didn't get a pop. My fear is as soon as I get out of this trade, it will run. So I'm just trying to see if I just need to keep holding this because it had a good gap. Again, you're above all the daily moving averages. The stock would have to go really, really far to hit my stop. So I'm just trying to see if I can just hold on to this one a little bit longer. So this is the weekly chart. And again, you're forming a pennant pattern. Mike says, can you speak a little bit more in detail about the one white soldier and its relevance on how to trade it? I can. I will. I can look at one right now and see one, but I would ask, did you get a chance to check out the ebook, Mike, my candlestick ebook? I talk a lot about the one white soldier in the ebook. If you don't have that, let me know, and I will send you. He says no. All right, let me send you the link to download that. But I'll still talk about it. Just wanted to, if you want candlesticks, this is, in my opinion, a really good resource on candlesticks. There you go. And pretty much all you have to do is just sign in to the website and you can download that. But one white soldiers, the way they're created, you think about it, is they're created from a gap and go. It's like an intraday gap. when you're looking at, so this is a one white soldier on a weekly chart on Blue Apron. So you can see the bearish candle, and then the very next day it gaps up. So you have some traders who are trapped on a one white soldier, and that's really why it's important, why it's effective, is because it's a trapping candle. It's like an intraday bullish gap and go that ends up forming a nice bullish candle. And it's even a bonus if it closes above the previous bearish candle, because again, anyone who's in that candle is trapped in losing money. If I'm going over here to a daily chart, this is a one white soldier on a daily right here. And that's a very nice candle, because again, at open, everyone who was in bearish or who had sold the previous day, they are losing money immediately. So it's like a gap and go, but in a candlestick form. And that's pretty much it. That's realistically the relevance. The cool part is one white soldiers, they show up all the time. Really fun pattern. So that's Blue Apron, doing absolutely nothing. I don't think many of you are in that trade, but there are loads of you in on MKC. So MKC, this is one that we did set up during the free week, and we're up almost right at an R on this thing. And I'm really just fingers crossed for a close above this price right here. Let me see, where's the drawing for this? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if we can close above this price before the end of day Monday, I'll continue to hold this trade. If we close above this blue line resistance before end of day Monday, I'll continue to hold. Because this is a counter trend. It is a fade. It was based on the Bollinger Bands. And if we close above there, I feel like it should slowly begin to work. Here's the 200 simple, and I get that. It's at about 126.41. But again, this gap, I think it could eventually fill. I might be hoping on this one too hard. We will see. This is one of the reasons why I've had to take a few really cheaper stocks, is because this one is soaking up not an immense amount of buying power, but you know, we kept a pretty far away stop on it. Update. So up small on MKC. Up tiny. And again, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Again, this was purely based off of this Bollinger Band. Just simply the fact that this stock gapped down and had a white candle that closed outside of the bottom band. That is such a rare event. And usually when that happens, the stock just slowly peels into its targets and eventually can roll over. That's fine, but it's just really, really rare for that to happen. The stupid part is I could have gotten in this trade twice. So we would have gotten filled on this day, could have exited for an R, and then gotten back in and then exited for an R again. I could have taken this trade 2 times. And I will say I was very close to selling it out of just pure boredom on that day. I was up a little bit that day, and I kind of want to show off for all the traders in the free week. Probably should have shown off a little bit, flex some muscle. Said, hey guys, let's just exit right at that resistance. But I was hoping that more would happen. It's still not a bad trade by any means. So we'll come back to this one on Monday, and depending on what it does between now and then is depending on how long we'll hold it. Okay, so that's MKC. And then the next one that we have together is SBUX. This was also from the open house week. And SBUX is slowly grinding higher. The market was down hard today. We're in some call options. The trend is still relatively bullish. We've increased the stop on SBUX, and I'm just hoping that it breaks and makes a new high and we can exit this for about 1 R, maybe a little bit more. We have time, right? So these expire March week 1. The hourly chart looks good. So here's the hourly chart. If I turn the extended hours off, I mean, the hourly chart looks good. It doesn't have any massive reason why I should get out, now. I'm not going to hold much longer, but I will let you all know with those particular calls, we make a new high and I can lock in about an R, I will. So that's Starbucks. Then this was Teradyne, and we talked about this one yesterday. So TER. And TER, I'm relatively happy how we got in on this one. 37.48, we did a limit buy. I kind of had the feeling this could end up retesting the 10, but we do have our stop below the 10, and the low of the day was 32.31. So we couldn't have gotten in much lower than we got in today. This is the weekly chart. Again, we close, we're breaking above here. I get it. We have a lot of white candles in a row. I realize that. So kind of like the market, like I was saying yesterday, if we get in on some dips today and it keeps going lower, we're going to get stopped out on some trades and we'll have to regroup. But if it bounces and we keep going up, then awesome. No fear. Right, no reason to have fear. So we're above the 200. You had a pennant pattern breakout. Volume looks good. The trend looks nice. I agree that the 100 simple on a weekly could certainly become an issue. So here's the 100 simple on a weekly right there. So we'll have to see, but at least we bought it on a pullback, 37.48, and we will see what Teradyne does from here. All right, so let me make that active. 37.48. And then this trade was wild sauce today. ICLK, iClick, really volatile. The 5-minute chart opened and then just kind of crushed lower. You had some gaps. You had all kinds of wild stuff. You could have gotten potentially even a better fill on this one. But I do like this high wave candle, I must admit. I do like it. I like the high wave. There's absolutely no reason, though, for it to take out the low of that candle. So if this thing's going to bounce, I mean, we can go ahead and take that stop up and move it up about 10 cents. Because we take out the low of that candle, obviously we're going to come down and hit our old stop as well of 486. All right, so ICLK, increase, stop. So on average, about 100,000 shares a day. We'll see if any more volume comes in on ICLK. Don't trade these type of stocks very often, but I figured I would give this one a try. Had a lot of people request it, and I was like, okay, sure. I mean, I'm not scared. Limit buy of 541 was good. We move up our stop. We get stopped out. We might try it again, but just simply a little bit lower. And then, of course, if it runs, then even better, right? See if it has a big gap up or something exciting tomorrow would be wonderful. Okay. So that is iClick. And then come over here. ExxonMobil. So here's XOM. ExxonMobil did not trigger our entry, and it would not have hit our stop. Sorry, let me rephrase. It didn't hit our entry, and it did not come down to that green line that I was looking at yesterday. So what I'm going to do is cancel ExxonMobil for now, and we will come back to this one later. So let's come back to ExxonMobil on Monday. So we'll cancel ExxonMobil. And again, if the whole market bounces, that's great. I mean, we're in some bullish position, so we'll just have to kind of see what it does. So that's ExxonMobil. And then AMD. So AMD, I mean, got as close as it can get to hitting 120 today without actually hitting it as far as the puts go. Fingers crossed for a bounce on AMD. Trying to see if it can bounce off the 10. We shall see. Don't know if it does or not, but it can't get much closer than it got today. You're below all the moving averages, so tomorrow you're either going to get stopped out on AMD or it'll bounce. right at the 100. Let's see. So that's AMD, and I think those are all the swing trades. Okay. Here's Allstate, ALL, and Allstate gapped up on earnings. Very cute gap right above the 100. It was a retest type of gap, and here's the 5-minute chart on Allstate, and we can all see that beautiful retest right there. Here's your exponential moving averages, just pulls back right into the 10. There's Arabia's new favorite candle, high wave bullish candle on the 10 EMA, non-recorded time, non-extended hours on a bullish retest gap. So good. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, decent gap on earnings, Allstate. The hardest part of an insurance company is hiding all their profits. And this one is just screaming right now. So Allstate, a buy the dip off the 200 simple on a weekly chart. Look at that. What a pullback. That was a pullback of approximately 25%, which is really nice. And I did not buy Allstate there, but I wish I did. That would have been pretty. Can't be in everything, though. Here's Sky, SKY, Skyline Champion Corporation. And the reason I'm pulling this one up is because I kind of like this gap up. I'm a little bit of a fan of this gap. Today, you got a bearish high wave candle. Not a super expensive stock. Here's the hourly chart. And based on the hourly, I think we could do something like this. And my thought on this one is going to be, again, should I kind of finagle the entry and make it a little bit lower than it is, or just stick with that? Let me go turn on the extended hours and just see if there's any weird candles. So if I did a bullish stop limit with an entry here and a limit down here, I could lower this entry a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to do a grandma number. 18 is my stop. This is going to be a stop of 1878. Sorry, 1978. So that's where the stop is going to be. And then the limit order is going to be lower. Limit order is going to be 1950. That means the risk will be $1.50 worth of risk. I used some grandma numbers on Square today, and it worked out decent, okay. So since we canceled ExxonMobil, let's snag this one. New official swing trade. SKY. Haven't traded this one in recent memory. By the way, got the workout done for today. Joe says grandma number. I probably would just stop saying that because people always have questions about it. But it's just really just easy, flat, normal numbers. People call grandma numbers. Just buying it like an even number, setting your stop at an even number. Some people say don't do that. Some people say do that. It's one of those weird things. It's like a lot of people say don't do it because it's too easy, and some people say do it because it's so easy it works. I don't know. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I like to mix it up a little bit. But buying at 1950, stop at 18 even, $1.50 worth of risk. And my plan on this one is pretty much at doing this. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I love the daily chart. I like the gap up. I like that little inside candle. And the risk reward actually is not bad. It's about a 1-to-1 into the 100. But it can get much better if it starts to really start creeping higher. We're going to come back and look at that one tomorrow because that probably will trigger between today and tomorrow. Gene says 1970 and 1950. Why 2 entries? So there's only 1 entry. It's a stop, and then you have the stop is the triggering order, and then you have a limit. The limit is the entry. So let me send you, Gene, a video on stop limits. I think I'm one of the only traders on the internet that uses stop limits for my entries. A lot of people just use market orders, and you just get really good timing with your limits. So yeah, 1978, check out that article. I think it'll be really, really helpful. But 1978, this is where the order goes live, and the 1950 is going to be the actual entry itself, the limit on the pullback. This is a really valuable article with some solid pieces of intel, a lot of pieces of information. So I think you're going to really like that article. Anyone else can also use it, by the way. So it's a very valid question, Gene. Thanks for asking. Appreciate you having no fear. Always, this is the judgment-free zone. So if you need any help after that article, just hit me up. Let me know, and I'll be happy to clear up anything I can. Okay, so Take-Two Interactive popped today. Not really massively surprising, because a lot of you faded it yesterday, and it popped again today, right at market open. So here's the 5-minute chart, and type in a 1 if you can see the pennant pattern. Look at this. Boom, boom. There is the pennant pattern right there. Falco says, so you had to take 2 to fade it. That's right. Would have been a second trade. And notice how well it held that low of the day. That pre-market low from the gap down, it held that pre-market low the entire time. I mean, that's a good signal. I didn't trade this. I'm not saying, it could have been traded. I'm just saying that it's a good pop. You could have made a little bit of a gain on it. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I have on Take-Two right now. Possible head and shoulders pattern. Maybe it breaks down. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see. But if there's going to be any kind of bearishness, it need to get below this candle. So we'll come back. We'll look at Take-Two tomorrow. I don't have a trade on it right now. No positions on it. We'll just have to see what it does. Activision, kind of the same thing. Definitely not going to trade both of them at the same time. But this one also had a good gap. But it also has a super cute little small inside bullish candle on Activision. And earnings is around the corner on ATVI. So a gap up or a gap down, that one could be fun. Could impact Take-Two Interactive. We will see. We'll continue to slowly keeping our eyes on that one. And EA Sports. I'm sure someone played EA Sports out there. So if you remember, type in a 6 if you remember the strategy and the reasoning behind I was talking about going bullish on EA yesterday. Who remembers this one? So this is very similar to MKC. Remember I talked about the gap down and the candle, the white candle closing outside the bottom Bollinger Band? That is a rare, rare pattern, ladies and gentlemen. Rare. Does not happen that often. And when it happens, especially on a relatively blue chip stock like EA, I mean, I wouldn't say relatively. It doesn't pay dividends, but it's a decently strong company. Just had a good bullish pop, returning to its standard deviation. Here's the 5-minute chart, and again, it just opened and ran. You would have had to have this order ready out there, just ready to go. And you can see on the 1-minute chart, 1-minute chart would have filled perfectly, and off to the races you'll go. So EA, a nice little gap down, high wave, bullish candle, could have taken it in any direction. But if you did play it long, well done. We'll see what it does tomorrow. Falco says EA just launched some game that 2.5 million people downloaded in 24 hours. Some friends telling me it's going to be a Fortnite killer. Derek, what game is this? Do you know? Have you heard of this game?
No, I'm not quite sure.
All right, so we have a video gamer in the house. He doesn't know. So, I don't know, man. Falco says, has microtransactions Apex Legends?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Has 290,000 people watching on Twitch. Nice. Well, if EA paid a dividend, I'd be all about it. The monthly chart looks okay. The weekly chart doesn't look terrible. Jeff says my new Fortnite, the new Fortnite my son just told me today. Interesting. Well, I mean, if you're going to be playing it bullish, guys, it makes sense to me that it'll fill this gap. And, you know, tomorrow I'll actually draw most likely what it will do. Something like this. So if you're wanting to play EA, I get it. It makes sense to me. I mean, fundamentally, a lot of people, you know, seem to be making some money. It is a buy low, sell high. I wish it paid dividends. It doesn't, but hey, if you're looking at playing a long position on it, or you're picking up some shares for your kid, or maybe your kid, you know, grandson, daughter, son and daughter, nephew, niece, if they love playing Apex Legends and they want to make some money off of it, teach them how to trade electronic arts. EA Sports. It's in the game. Tim says, yep, I believe my son downloaded it yesterday. Says it's awesome. Heck yeah. I have legit not played a video game in quite a while, unfortunately. Grubhub. So the chart that Dean Chance sent me on Grubhub today was masterful. Check out this new low, by the way. Falco says, the stock market is the best video game. Can't deny that, my man. Can't deny that. So check this out. Grubhub was a pure trap. The low of this candle, 66.64. The low of today's candle, 66.62. Someone got burned on this one. And, of course, Dean, the Chancellor Chance, zoomed into a 5-minute chart and set up one of the best fades I've seen in my life. So this is the 5-minute, and he played it long here, stop loss right here. What a fade. And he obviously, I mean, he didn't know it was going to bounce, but this candle, high wave candle with volume after making a new 52-week low, trapping all the bears, and then, you know, you get look at all that volume. Flag pattern, breakout, retest, Smashville. Grubhub. What a fade. Here's the weekly chart. Weekly chart. Oh, wow. Look at Grubhub's pullback. 50%. I'm not a believer in the stock myself, but after this candle and volume, I probably should be. If you like Grubhub, use Grubhub, or you're a fan of Grubhub. If you like Grubhub long term, I mean, this candle, the volume, the location, the 100 simple on the weekly looks good. Again, not personally a believer in what Grubhub does, but I know how they make money. I get it. I understand it. This candle probably will have some type of retracement from today. Great fade, Dean, but let's see what it does from here. That's all I can really say on that one specifically. Next on the list was Square, and Robert Falco got himself a frequent trader point today for giving us a Square trade. Here's the 5-minute chart on Square, and we played this about as good as we could have. Could have played it a little better, but I just had to exit purely off of intuition, which I thought about, but I'll just hide all the drawings for a second. So we saw Square on this candle right here and played it purely based off of two things. Pre-market low. So pre-market low, it made a new low. A bunch of people were bearish. They got trapped. And this was a pennant pattern right here. Boom, boom, pennant pattern, breakout. And then this next candle was a tweezer top. I should have bought that pullback. If I was a real man, I would have gotten in at like 71.40 with a stop at 70.40. That's how I wanted to play the game. That's what I liked, but I did like that close, and I like the candle. So the next candle came in, this candle, I said, okay, if we break above the high of this candle, we're going to get in. So candle broke, we set up a limit entry, got filled on the limit, and then this candle flashed some people out. Not any of us, but some other traders, right, who had their stop right there, a little too low. I got a little scared on that candle. I'm not going to make it up. This candle comes in, and then that candle, and that's, you know, all good to go from there. Tim got 1.2 Rs on square. Well done, Tim. We played it pretty well. Again, I could have exited a little bit better, but I wanted to try to get some more on square. And right about here, I thought about maybe exiting something, but I was like, you know what? Just try, see. So I put my stop below this candle and got trailed out. But again, 0.6 on the day on square is no slouch. Not a bad move. And a few people made some other good monies. A lot of people input sales on square. Here's your long-term moving averages. And this thing is coiling. All I can say, folks, for the next 3 to 4 weeks, I'm probably going to watch square every single day. Because if it breaks out of this 200, 100 coil, this compression, I'm going to be in. If it breaks down low, I'm going to buy some shares. Falco says, don't you already do that? I do, but I figured I would just reiterate that I'm going to do it. It's kind of like telling you that I'm going to have a milkshake in the next 2 weeks. I think you already all know that that's going to happen. I love milkshakes, so we'll see. But yeah, anyway, looks good. And again, a lot of people input sales on square. This thing is getting ready, folks. Don't miss it when she moves. It's coming. Type in a 6 if you're with me on that. I think I beat that dead horse enough. We've talked about it pretty much every single day. Do not miss the move when it comes, because it's coming. Next on the list, oh my goodness. If you didn't make money off of Chipotle today, this gap was life. This is my favorite gap. I've been planning and waiting on Chipotle since back here. S-curve, right? Bullish S-curve. You get 7 or 8 days of bearish candles in a row. A nice, healthy 10% gap up this morning. I would have loved to tell you that I played on the 1 minute and got filled. I mean, I did play it on the 1 minute like a boss. I had no fear. I was planning on playing Chipotle like an absolute legend all night long. I had to take some sleeping pills to trade that gap. Look at this 1 minute chart. Like a newborn baby. 1 minute high wave candle. I mean, Robert Falco said, wait for a high wave candle and get in. And he didn't even trade it today. I think we should call Chipotle and Boise and tell them to not serve Robert Falco. So if you get anyone with that name, just don't serve them. They don't deserve to eat here. Mahmoud says, what is a high wave candle? That's it right there. You're looking at it, my man. You are looking at it. Feel free to print it out, put it on your board. High wave candle. I do plan on having a video very soon about high wave candles. In fact, we're going to write that down and do that right after this and make a little bit of an intro and start making that happen. That's a high wave candle, very indecisive candle. Now, I would have loved to have told you that I kept that order open because I did get skipped on it. I did cancel it, and then I had to get back in here on the retest. So I got in there with a stop down there, and I made a good 1.4 Rs on Chipotle. Good 1.4 R trade. Tara made some good money on this trade. Jeff Hansen made good money on this trade. It was a great gap. Everything was perfect. 2 minute chart was wonderful. It doesn't matter what time frame you looked at this one. You should have gotten in on this trade. 2 minute. Look at this 2 minute. There's your high wave candle on a 2 minute right here. Entry here, stop there. 3 minute chart. Here's your 3 minute chart. Second candle of the day, bearish candle. I mean, you're getting in above that with a stop below there. 5-minute candle was a bearish upper shadow. I mean, what more do you want on the 5-minute chart? Look at this 5-minute. Bearish candle, get in here, stop loss there at least. Anyway, CMG, very nice move, gorgeous play, and I heard rumors that Blake faded that one today. That was the rumor. Like a legend, I was not going to fade Chipotle today, even though this is a new high. So the high of this candle is 605.74. High of this candle, 606 to the penny. One black crow candle, too, on Chipotle. Broke down, rotated, faded. Nice move, Blake. I did not do that on CMG, but that gap was delicious. Next on the list is Tesla. TSLA gap down today, and we talked about a little bit of a bearish move yesterday on it. Bottom line, I'm just waiting for Tesla to hopefully go a little bit lower so I can get into some trades on it. I would like a bull put spread or some put sales. If you're playing Tesla, I would just say do option spreads. It's very, very sideways. So either play the sideways trade, so buy low, sell high, or get into your credit spreads or put sales and just kind of watch it, make it happen. I don't have any trade right now on Tesla personally. My buddy Scott has a put sale. It's going to be expiring worthless. I think he bought that one back, actually. So I'm just waiting for a volatility play on Tesla. CGC. So CGC had a very cute little move today. Hung out, trade sideways most of the day. Nothing too crazy. And I thought I had a drawing on this, but I don't know where that drawing went. So Diane has a put sale for July 35. Put sale on CGC. And that's about it. CGC, Canopy Growth, hanging out, doing its thing. Nothing too wild and crazy. Chilling. Right now what you got on CGC is you got like this inside candle. That thing could break lower, trade lower, bounce, hang out, but we'll just kind of keep tabs on what CGC ends up doing. Next on the list is Pfizer, ticker symbol PFE. Pfizer sideways. Nothing happening on Pfizer. Really, I mean, just nothing. They had a really beautiful run back in 2018. It's retesting. It is trapped in between the long-term moving averages. If you're playing Pfizer, look to buy it as low as you can, maybe around $40.25, something like that. My buddy Daniel Rovner is in on UGI. He simply bought this support like a pro. So here's the support line. That's what his drawing was. Resistance, support, support, support. Got in yesterday on UGI. Looks good. Today's a bullish inside day candle. Yesterday was a bearish gap and go. So if UGI does continue lower, it most likely will happen tomorrow. Otherwise, Daniel, I mean, great discipline. Well done following your plan. Just have a few more. SSW, C-SPAN Corporation. C-SPAN. Maybe buy down here. Yeah, I guess buy down around $8 if you're looking at playing C-SPAN. This looks really sideways. Daily chart, a little bit of a bearish candle. Yeah, kind of a bearish pattern actually on C-SPAN. Kind of like this little double top right here. Close with the neckline, retest. You got to rest after battle. Yeah. If I was playing ticker symbol SSW, I would just simply look to buy it lower than it is right now. Sideways, buy low, sell high. AMBA. AMBA. I was looking at this one. This was one that I put on the chart because I like this little pop right here. I like this double bottom. Good neckline close, good retests. Here's your exponential moving averages. I put this one on for me. I don't know if anyone has a trade on this one. I'm just going to keep waiting. This is one that I was interested to see what was going to happen. MC was a very cute gap today. Let's begin to keep an eye on this one. I love high wave candles. Here's another one. Another high wave candle after a bullish gap and go. It's hanging out at the 100 simple. I'm just going to start watching this day by day to see if it does anything interesting. Right now, no trade, but I'm keeping a close eye on it. DVN. So I had a trader who was asking about DVN as a bearish trade, and we actually did also look at CHK for a bearish trade yesterday. So there were some bears kind of showing up today overall in the market. And looking at this one, just trying to figure out what's going to happen. It looks relatively bearish. Can't deny that. I mean, nice high wave candle doing its thing. Gap down below all the moving averages. I would just say if it pulls back and you're looking at going short, that is at least the direction and the trend. It could be a trap, but you won't know until you're in. So if it retests, 25.84, 25.91, pretty much just retesting the low of these bullish candles right here, I would take it lower. And honestly, I'm going to put DVN on my list tomorrow morning to keep an eye out on this one if it continues lower. If that continues lower, I mean, this is just the first day with a bearish gap. It could keep going. Three left on the list. These were late additions. Nike, just doing what Nike does. They released a self-zipping shoe, self-lacing shoe not too long ago, and there's some buzz out there about that. So you got a little bit of a self-lacing shoe. Here's the weekly chart. Weekly chart, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 white candles in a row. There's a pullback coming at some point. I don't know how big it's going to be, but if you're in Nike bullish, I mean, the trend is bullish. You got to stay bullish until a much bigger pullback occurs. Here's the weekly chart, and the weekly chart, looks good. I don't know. I mean, Nike, the trend looks great on Nike. Nothing I can really say about Nike right now. Looks nice. Expedia is supposed to be gapping down tomorrow. Where's it gapping down to? It's gapping up. Oh. Expedia, 137.50. Wow. Let's see how we can fade Expedia tomorrow. Okay. Friday morning, EXPE fade, question mark. I got burned on the Boeing fade. I realized that. The best traders admit when they lose, and they lose small. This thing gaps up. I mean, it easily could run just because everyone thinks it's going to go short. I'm just going to watch it for a short. Huge gap up. A lot of people probably going to be taking some profits. I will draw a resistance, and I will be watching Expedia tomorrow. And next on the list is AYX. AYX. This is the weekly chart, strong trend. Daily chart, is it gapping? Nope, AYX not gapping yet. I like the pullback. I kind of like this little double bottom pattern. If I personally were playing AYX, I would like to get in around here, which is just a little bit lower than that obvious support. So support on AYX around 63, which is probably pretty close to the 100 simple. Not quite. A little bit of a double top, kind of. Broke a little bit of a support. Yeah, I don't see anything on AOX that I'm just in love with right now. We'll keep waiting on that one. Last but not least, Falco says Skechers is moving big. Skechers probably gapping up large. Yep, it is. Gapping up large. Skechers is very volatile in earnings. This thing's probably going to run. Skechers already up 18%. Most likely, it's going to just continue going tomorrow. I'm not going to fight that one bearish. Yeah, Skechers is just going to keep on plowing higher. Look to buy some dips on Skechers. Spice said, did I miss NOV? I did not think NOV is on my list, but I can put on the list for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Finance Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you want to look at tomorrow? Okay, Thursday, put this on the list. All right, so Friday, we have HUYA, AVGO. We have IQZEN, First Solar, Shopify, QTT, Google, SKY, TTWO. Anything else you guys want to look at? MC, FAS, check out Gold, JNUG, YUMC. All right, team. You know where I'll be. Same time, same place tomorrow. 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to rock it out. Options, class number 4 is tonight. I will see you all then. And until then, love life, and